Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our iRacing NASCAR My Driver Career Mode here on the channel. A big day here as the NASCAR Cup Series heads to the New Hampshire road course for the first time in Cup Series history. A very fun episode with a sprint race and of course the main Grand Prix on the way here today. As you guys know, every road course race of the season has a sprint race to go along with it. But first, we have the subscriber series that was finally underway here for this season. As you can see on the left side leaderboard there, the names of the drivers that are in this series with a mix of members on the channel and then randomly selected community members that signed up to be in the series, which you can find a sign up link in the description. But it was actually Andrew Lowe in his debut here in the 98 car who would go to the top step of the podium with the win, as a member of Brett Durward would be second place, just in front of Loeffler and AJ Vasseur and Hughes, who would round out the top five. As you see the rest of the field coming through out of turn 4 to cross the line here in Concord. As you see the finishing order right here, to get an idea of if you're in this series or not. So if you are, good luck to you. And now we jump through into a truck series recap where we saw IDK player aka Jonathan Ramos pick up his first win in his truck series career here as in that number 07 Chevrolet Silverado. So a great start for Ramos here, and he's potentially eyeing moving up into the Xfinity Series next season, along with maybe Michael Mrutzen and Travis Brown, aka Moonhead, as well here. As we jump through into now qualifying here in the New Hampshire road course for the sprint race. So there's qualifying for both the sprint race and the main race here. No Xfinity race to recap until the next episode, or F1 either. As you can see, the way this New Hampshire road course works, you go down on the back straightaway, then you have this little extra side road course that you kind of head off into on the exit or on the outside of the back straightaway here. It's got a really nice little banked left curve right here. A really fun track to actually drive, but pretty technical at the same time. And what you don't want to do is this. You don't want to go wide right there and invalidate your lap time. So unfortunately, I invalidate my lap time, and that means I had to start at the back of the grid for the sprint race, and you don't have a lot of time in the sprint race. I wasn't the only one that made a mistake. Eric Almirola made a huge mistake in the qualifying for this sprint race, loses control of his car, slams head on into the tire barrier. He was done for the day. So he was back, of course, in time for the start of the sprint race. So after qualifying, as we were ready for the second standing start and second road race of the season, it was lights out. We were underway. Kyle Busch here in front of the sprint race now with Kyle Larson. As you guys know, with how sprint races work here in this NASCAR Cup Series now with this My Driver Series that we're doing, is the race winner for the sprint race gets 15 points, and then second place gets 9 points, and then it goes down to 10th place who gets 1 point. So 1 point decrease per position down into 10th place, but the winner gets a bonus, of course, with the 15 points for actually being the one to win the sprint race here now. And don't forget, the fastest lap in the Grand Prix does get an extra point, and Austin Cindric actually got that extra point at Circuit de Spa with the fastest lap there. As you see, Joey Logano, the point leader, comes into today's episode with about a 16-point lead, comfortably in front right now of Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch. But right now, you see both Larson and Kyle Busch ahead of him. As you look through the rest of the order now, as you actually are going to see myself there going wide through the grass here. We nearly head into a tree, but we save it. We keep going in the right direction, but look at the time we have lost, and that was just simply a mistake on my own. I had made a huge error. We'll get a look at it here in just a second, as I was actually side by side with Todd Gilliland, I think it was, in the number 38 car, and you're going to see it right here. I just simply go wide. It was 100% on me, and once you lose traction, of course, from the track into towards the gravel or the grass, you're along for the ride at that point. So first we screwed up in qualifying, second we screwed up on the opening lap, but it wasn't long until we had run down the group of cars ahead of us again, because we have good speed in this car. We really do. This is a fast NZXT Trackhouse Camaro here today, and we've been getting better as the season has been going on. We haven't been able to compete for a win yet, but I think we're getting closer and closer. Of course, we've had some strong finishes recently. Kansas didn't go our way. We were outside of the top 10, but before then we had back-to-back top 10s, including a top 5 at Dover here. Now, as you can see me getting the elbows out a little bit there, going past Michael McDowell, but we only had 6 laps to go at this point, as Kyle Busch is currently dominating here in the sprint race now in the New Hampshire road course. Actually has a little bit of a slip up though. He's going to be sideways. Kyle Larson might be able to pounce on this and get up into position. Kyle Busch is going to go up and over into the tire barrier. The caution is going to come out, and oh my goodness, Kyle Busch, who's looking at 15 points in a sprint win, has gone up and over. Have you ever seen a choke like that? NASCAR's first race here at the New Hampshire Hampshire road course kicks off with a chaotic moment here. As you can see, another look at it, Kyle Busch simply hits the curb and goes up and over. Thank goodness Kyle Busch, he was okay and on board with them here now. As you can see him just wheeling that car, it was just all out of grip, and unfortunately he took a terrible line into the apex and up and over. He went on board with Kyle Larson's view as well. Look at that. Now with this My Driver career mode, we can bring in injuries and a lot of other things, and that will be a thing throughout the series, but for this one here, fortunately Kyle Busch was okay. One of the championship contenders who's going to be done for the day and get 0 points instead of 15. Now unfortunately, with the timing of the caution and NASCAR getting that accident cleared up with repairing the tire wall and of course getting a car that flipped over out of the way, we didn't go green until the final lap of the sprint. It was already a short sprint. That's what these sprints are. They're a sprint. It's short, but we only had 1 lap of racing left. You saw me pass some cars there before the line. That was completely okay with these road course rules here that have been changed in the NASCAR Cup Series this season. Now in this 25 race long season, let me know if you guys want to see it stay with this 25 season format with no playoffs, or should we go back to 36 races in the future with playoffs? You guys remember, if you've been here since the start, the reason we have this 25 race season with no playoffs is because of a global pandemic that put some serious financial issues on not only NASCAR but every sport in the world, and that's why they had to basically put this season to the way it was here now. And the Xfinity Series of course was affected severely last season when we were in that series as well before moving up into the Cup Series. So that's just the way it has ended up here now. But next season, as NASCAR continues to get over that financial instability, they could maybe return to that 36 race format with the playoffs, but I want you guys to help decide with that as well. But Kyle Larson, he would actually win the sprint race over Joey Logano, so it would be 15 points to Kyle Larson, 9 points to Joey Logano. Then of course 8th all the way down to 10th, it goes down by 1 singular point. You could see a bit of the top 10 there on the right bottom of your screen. Not the main focus, of course. The main Grand Prix is the focus of this episode, and we would have qualifying on Sunday morning here for the main Grand Prix, where I didn't make a mistake through the same section, and we put up a best qualifying effort we ever have. Last episode we qualified dead last. This time we qualified 4th place here for the New Hampshire Grand Prix. Things were looking pretty good now. We are going to be starting row number 2 for a standing start here now, as it could go either way. But Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Keselowski, myself, the top 4, Schildhouse in 5th. It's lights out and we were underway for the New Hampshire Grand Prix here now. 20 laps of racing. It's a great start for myself. The road racing background with the standing start experience certainly pays off right here now as we dive down into turn 1. 3 wide for the lead. Logano in the middle, myself on the inside, Larson on the top, but Logano is going to prevail on the exit of oval turn 2. We drop back down to 4th place alongside Brad Keselowski, the 2012 Cup Series champion. He lunges up the inside of Kyle Larson. David Schildhouse in his 2nd season in the Cup Series has lunged up the inside of myself, and you see everybody over so far getting through clean in these opening corners now, as this is such a slow section of the track on the original starts of this race because everyone's just all bunched up and it's not high speed to begin with, even when you're by yourself. Schildhouse now, we were able to get back in front of him. He was side by side with Chase Briscoe, who is known to be pretty competitive when it comes to the road course races, especially at Indianapolis road course, and right now getting his elbows out behind that number 20 Rick Ware Racing Chevrolet Camaro. And we've talked about Rick Ware Racing. They have continued to improve throughout this season, and of course going into the last season as well. Schildhouse running well, as well as James Davison, who's up in the top 5 of points, and Cody Ware's had his moments too. Now, as you saw, some contact between myself and Kyle Larson there, but Joey Logano leads lap 1, and actually we have some trouble in the background. We got the Roush Fenway teammates of Ryan Newman and Chris Buescher who have come together, and you can see the replay there. Buescher loses grip, slides into Newman, and Newman, I think out of frustration, maybe out of anger, stops in front of the 17, but then there was a bit more drama actually with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Austin Dillon. Moments later, they would come together as well. You see Stenhouse get sideways, Dillon just basically in the wrong spot at the wrong time, but it got worse. I don't know what Austin Dillon's doing, but he slams into the outside wall, does damage to his car. At this point, Newman had gotten rolling as well, and Buescher actually brought it back into the pit lane, Newman being in his final season. And stay tuned for some news on this Roush Fenway team here coming in the future now, as there might be some big changes that basically replicate real life, and a big announcement coming in the next episode that you might not be prepared for. It's going to be an interesting one, a bit of a shocker to say the least, and I can't wait for you guys to see that when NASCAR heads to Long Beach. A big episode actually here, as you continue to see the battles throughout throughout these opening couple of laps. Daniel Suarez, our Trackhouse teammate, who's up in the top 10 of points right now, side by side with rookie team owner and driver Jeff Favignano there for Favignano Racing in that Thrustmaster Ford Mustang. He's going to go the long way around that Good Sam Chevrolet Camaro, and Favignano, sure enough, takes the position from Daniel Suarez, who's just in front of that 41 of Cole Custer. There's Jay Cook a little bit further down the order. We had a bit of a run-in with our former Xfinity teammate and rival in the last episode, and today he's just not showing a lot of pace. Jay Cook, Justin Haley, both Kaulig drivers in the Kaulig team in the Cup Series, has been struggling quite a bit, and I'm pretty glad that they actually chose Jay over me at this point, because clearly we've won with Trackhouse. Suarez doing great, myself doing exceptional as well, and there's rumors that we might expand to a 3-car team and bring Ross Chastain over next season, as Chip Ganassi looks to potentially be shutting down in the My Driver Series just like IRL, as well as you can see a side-by-side battle though with Kyle Larson here as we head down into the right hand. There I go a little bit too deep there on the braking zone. We nearly go into the tire barrier, and all the time we've gained is gone because Shieldhouse goes by. Bowman on the right-hand side, as well as we stay ahead of the Hendrick Motorsports number 48 Chevrolet, and we continue towards this top 5 now. A great run we are having so far. As you can see, I was all out of whack here for a few moments, but we would be able to kind of calm down, settle down, and continue on in the right direction. A few moments later, David Shieldhouse has the same moment that Kyle Busch had in the sprint race, and he nearly goes up and over. He abuses the curb. He's all out of shape here. You saw me actually hop the curb a little bit as well, but that brought me right to the back of the Rick Ware Racing driver, who comes from a sim racing background. David Shieldhouse does. He made it into the top 3 tiers of NASCAR and eventually earned himself a ride here with Rick Ware Racing in the Cup Series, and has been doing an exceptional job and could find himself maybe on an even better team here in the future. I wouldn't rule out, I should say, Joe Gibbs Racing. I feel like David Shieldhouse could be a good fit there maybe next season. Now is Denny Hamlin, of course, winding down towards the end of his career, but we continue to have this little wheel-to-wheel elbows out battle here with Shieldhouse, but he got the best of me for the time being. 15 laps remaining in this race. I'm trying to go the long way around here of Shieldhouse, around the outside here, but once again just can't quite pull it off. Actually a little bit of contact to the back of that 20 car. I was definitely being pretty aggressive here with Shieldhouse, and unfortunately while we are battling, Kyle Larson's pulling away, and of course when Larson's pulling away, Keselowski and Logano first and second there as well, just lights out fast, and I couldn't really put up the pace for them here. As you continue to see this battle, I actually had a moment as well here in the same section that Shieldhouse and Kyle Busch did, and fortunately we were able to keep the car relatively under control here and continue in the right direction. Now a few laps later, 13 laps to go, Shieldhouse with a very defensive line down into turn 1, and I knew I had to pounce on it. As soon as he took that line, that weird apex, I have to try and get the elbows up, get even more aggressive here, right to the back bumper of Shieldhouse, kind of moved him out of the way, a bit of a bump and run kind of here on the back straightaway, down into the right-hander, the 90-degree right-hander. We're going to take the position and move ourselves back in front of David Shieldhouse here in that advanced GG Chevrolet Camaro, and try to run down once again Kyle Larson here and see if we can get back into the top 3 now, as we're having a career run here today so far in this New Hampshire road course. Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski continue to lead the way over Kyle Larson and myself and Shieldhouse here, rounding out the top 5. Briscoe and Bowman having a bit of a battle here. They've been battling for the majority of the race so far, and you see the defensive line that Briscoe takes into turn 1. Bowman humps on the opportunity. He's going to go the long way around, and there you see Byron and Brandon Jones there for 2311 Racing scrapping it out. Brandon Jones really been the face of 2311 Racing so far this season. Bubba Wallace, Ty Gibbs, they've been struggling a little bit here now as you continue to watch that 48 and the 14 go at it with Christopher Bell in that 19 car just behind. Single file though throughout the rest of the grid, it looks like here. Hamlin and Bubba Wallace there, Jay Cook coming through, and then you got the Rick Ware duo of Davison and Cody Ware scrapping it out. McDowell and Burton, the rookie, as well in that 21 car, and Ryan Preece, and then you got the 47, the 7, 38, and 43 still on the track as we would continue on our own with 10 laps to go. Actually, Kyle Larson with 10 laps to go comes into the pit lane here, but it's not going to just be Kyle Larson. It's going to be Alex Bowman, Byron, Elliott, and a bunch of Chevys. Every driver that just pitted, including our teammate Suarez, they're all Chevrolets, and now every car here has the same fuel capacity, and we should be able to make it to the end of this race. But you just saw a bunch of Chevys pit, and you saw me make a mistake in the corner. Shieldhouse decides to come through and actually drive into the side of me, does a little bit of damage to the right side of my car. So Shieldhouse moves up into the 3rd position now, and we are trying to run him back down and kind of repay the favor here, but I make a big mistake with 9 laps to go, coming to 8 to go. The same mistake I made in qualifying in the sprint race right there, and that built up a nice gap between myself and Shieldhouse, but we would close that gap right back. I wasn't done here with David, but David, at the end of this lap here, he would come into the pit lane. So all these Chevrolets are pitting, and it's only Chevrolets. And I went and verified after the race to make sure I didn't screw anything up, and I did not. So every single car had the same fuel capacity limit. It's just Chevrolet. We're just confident that they couldn't make it to the end of this race, but I was confident I could make it, and clearly the Toyotas and Fords as well are confident they can make it. There you saw the three of us, and Dylan was actually stopped on the side of the track with 6 laps to go. No caution. There was a brief local yellow, but in the distance you see Eric Jones is on his roof on top of the tire barrier. The caution comes out with 5 laps to go in the New Hampshire road course. This could throw a curveball at everything and could give us an opportunity to win in New Hampshire here if we play our cards right now, or at least battle for the win. You see what happened there with Dylan and Elliott. Elliott got sideways, hit the three of Austin Dillon into the tire barrier, goes that 3 car, and then Eric Jones moments later, same situation that Showhouse had, Kyle Busch had. He would get sideways, hit the curb, go up and over. What a ride for Eric Jones. Fortunately, Eric as well for Richard Petty Motorsports was okay inside that number 43 car, as you see on board there with them. Goodness me, these guys have been going for some rides today, and what a crazy race so far this has been on the road course at New Hampshire. The first time NASCAR has come to the New Hampshire road course, it has been a spectacular event so far. This left us with a 2-lap dash on row number 2 behind Joey Logano here, with an opportunity to now compete for our first win in the NASCAR Cup Series. Do we have the pace though to stick with Joey Logano? We are back underway, 2 laps to go. The top 3 get away well, Logano, Keselowski, myself, and it's crucial for us to try and clear Keselowski, and we do. We are clear of the 2012 Cup Series champ, who tries to fight back on the exit of turn 2, but it can't quite do it. And now it's Logano, it's myself. A rivalry between myself and Logano has spanned back from NASCAR Heat 5 to just other games, R Factor, NR 2003, you name it. We've had issues with Joey Logano, NASCAR 21 Ignition Career Mode, and even in this My Driver Series. You remember back to the clash at the Las Vegas Bull Ring before the season, Logano actually dumped us in our first ever effort in a Cup Series car. I would like to repay the favor for that if I potentially could here. He is the points leader, so we do got to be smart about this. Right now, it doesn't look like we're going to be fighting for a championship this season here in what is only our rookie season, but we still are fighting for our first career win. Logano's had many, and I have had none here. Now, just a handful of races under our belt in the Cup Series, and for the first time, we're going to have an opportunity to pick up the victory here. Coming to the final lap in the New Hampshire road course. We come from a road racing background. We had a major crash in Formula 2 that sent us to North America here in the United States to pursue a NASCAR career. Now, on a road course here in New Hampshire, we are all over the back of Logano on this final lap to his bumper there, as we nearly get into the back of the Pennzoil Ford Mustang for Penske Racing. Keselowski in the background, ready to pounce if anything happens here as we head down into the braking zone. The bumper to the back of the 22, we send it into the corner, and it's too much of a send. We go spinning in the background. Logano hangs on, and we get hit by the 14 of Chase Briscoe, and all of our hopes come to an end as we make a mistake. We drilled the back of the 22 of Logano and hoped that I could get past him in the braking zone, but I sent it too hard into the braking zone, and around we went. Logano, of course, probably not impressed with what just happened right there. I just drove straight into the back of him and just wrecked myself trying to beat him, and unbelievable. We had a chance to get our first win of the Cup Series. Austin Dillon somehow has found his way back on the track, and I wasn't waiting around for him. That was not a pass for position, but instead of going for the win, it's going to be Joey Logano who will come out to win here in New Hampshire. Keselowski, Kyle Busch with one heck of a rebound in 3rd place, as the rest of the field is going to come through to cross the line, and we are not even going to be inside the top 10. It's actually going to be a 14th place finish for us here at the New Hampshire road course. Now, what a disappointing result here, and what could have been in New Hampshire. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know. I should have just maybe waited a little bit there, but I just sent it too hard. Sorry. There you hear myself on the radio to the team of just disappointing result for us here in New Hampshire. And of course, we have some updates on the points following that race here in New Hampshire to see what the situation is with that. And Joey Logano, of course, winning just benefits him. He was leading the points coming into this episode, and now he has a 41-point lead over Kyle Busch, 56 over Kyle Larson, 65 over Davison. You see the rest of the current top 8. I'll try to bring in the other 8 here on the right side side of this graphic in the next episode, if I remember. But it seems like a big gap, but one bad race for Logano, and all of a sudden, you got about 6 drivers within one race of each other back in the championship fight. So it's a lot closer than it might seem if Logano at least runs into some form of issue. But that does it for me. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. A heartbreaking end to this one, but in the next one, we head back-to-back road courses. We're going to go take NASCAR Cup Series to a street circuit for the first time here in a season points-paying event, and that is at Long Beach. I'm excited for that one, and not only that, it's a doubleheader. We make our IndyCar debut. Yes, you heard that correct. If you remember from the beginning of the season, we are making our IndyCar debut at Long Beach as well, as it's a doubleheader weekend. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.